So good afternoon, dear students. After giving a brief about the deep foundation, I have discussed the types of deep foundation, in which I have discussed about the pile foundation, Cashan foundation, well foundation, and pyre foundation, sheet piles. So in our syllabus, we are having the uh, exploratory part of pile foundation only. So I will today discuss about the pile foundation, and afterwards, briefly once again I will discuss about the machine foundation, sheet piles, pyre foundation, and Cashan. So there is a brief description in your as syllabus mentioned to you all people. There is just a brief description of all these things. We should not be entitled to have a deep knowledge about, because if we are going into the deep of these topics, machine foundation, Cashan foundation, well foundation, pyre and sheet piles, it is a higher advanced topic in foundation engineering. So in this figure you can see that soil which is of lower density, it being underlain by medium density soil and later on by high density soil. So this is the way of providing piles in a group. After that we provide a pile cap and load structure is being provided over it. So in this topic we are going to discuss the uses, selection of piles and types of piles, pile spacing, group of piles and efficiency of the group of piles, pile cap and pile show, load test on the piles, pile driving and pulling of the piles, load on piles, causes of failure of piles, and pile driving formulas. So before I start, I would like to tell you all people, foundation are the structural component used to support columns and transfer load to underlying soils. Foundation are basically of the two types. I have discussed all these things. Once again I am discussing that soil is of two types, broadly classified into two types: shallow foundation and deep foundation. Shallow foundation are further classified into isolated footing, combined footing, strap footing and wall footing. And this deep foundation are classified into Cashan piles, sheet piles and the pyre footings. So when the depth of the foundation is more than the width of the foundation, then it is termed as a deep foundation. If the desired soil bearing capacity is not available at a shallow depth, the foundation of the structure is to be taken to a more depth. So the deep foundation are classified as a pile foundation, cofferdams and Cashan foundation. Pile foundation are used extensively for the support of the building, bridges and other structure to safely transfer structural loads to the ground and to avoid excess settlement or lateral movement. They are very effective in transferring the structural loads through a weak or compressible soil layers into a more competent soil and rocks below. So this is a way pile foundation is given. Three piles in a group are given for for supporting one column of a building. So this you can see this is a 3-bay building having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 panels. So this building is being supported in this way. 3 group of piles are supporting one column of a building. So this is a actual way to give a pile foundation in a building or any structure. So a slender structural member consisting of the steel or concrete or timber, it is installed in a ground to transfer the structural loads to the soil at some significant depth below the base of the structure. Pile foundation, once again, our building is rested on a weak soil formation from our proposed building, so we have to give actually we provide pile foundation in a case when the load of the superstructure is more, or we are having the weak soil stratum beneath the superstructure. So in a figure we can see that how these 3 piles are being provided in a weak soil where the bearing stratum pile is being driven to the bearing stratum. Bearing stratum can be a rock or it can be any clay deposits. And after the providing piles in a group, we are providing a pile cap, and after that we are either providing pyres or column over it, which are being supported by these piles. So in a figure over here we can see that at a ground surface load is coming in a manner from superstructure to the column, and pile cap is being provided over the piles. Soft soil doesn't provide support to the piles. So this is the end bearing kind of pile which is being supported on rock. So piles are the structural member that are made of the steel, concrete or timber. As with the other types of foundation, the purpose of the pile foundation is to transmit a foundation load to a solid ground to resist vertical, lateral and uplift load. Piles can be timber, concrete, steel and composite structures. So in this figure, you can see the field application of the field image of the piles, how the piles is being provided over here. So uses of piles. The uses of piles, the load of superstructure is heavy and its distribution is uneven. The topsoil has a poor bearing capacity. The subsoil water is high, so that pumping of the water from the open trenches for the shallow foundation is difficult and uneconomical. There is a large fluctuation in the subsoil water level. The places where actually heavy rainfall occurs during the time of monsoon, so subsoil water level actually fluctuates. So strata where such type of things happen, pile foundation is very profitable to provide. And the first is if the topsoil has poor bearing capacity, then we provide pile foundation. If the load of the superstructure is heavy and its distribution is uneven, then in that cases also we provide pile foundation. So once the subsoil water is high, so that pumping of the water from the open trenches or shallow foundation is difficult and uneconomical, in that case also we provide the pile foundation. The structure is situated on the seashore or a river bed where there is a danger of scouring action of the water. If such condition also develops, so pile foundation is being provided. In case of canal or deep drainage lines exist near the foundation, such pile foundation are being provided. The topsoil is of the expensive nature. Piles are used for the foundation of transmission tower and offshore structures. So this is the way of transmission lines. The piles are provided in this way. Group of piles will be provided to support the one leg of the any tower, transmission tower. So these are the way group of piles are being provided in a field. So if we are having a low weight of any building, soft to firm clay, we just go for shallow foundation. If we are having the large distributed weight, we provide pile foundation. And if we have very large concentrated weight, actually nowadays government is promoting the skyscrapers in so we go for such type of end bearing piles. This is friction piles. Factors affecting the selection of types of piles: nature of the structure, loading condition, availability of the funds, availability of the material and equipments, types of soil and its properties, groundwater table, cell weight of the pile, durability of the pile, cost of the pile, maintenance cost, length of the pile required, number of the pile required, facilities available for the pile driving, presence of the acids and other material in the soil that would injure the pile. So once again I am discussing the factors affecting the selection of the types of pile. Try to recall it: nature of the structure, loading condition, availability of the funds, availability of the material and equipments, types of soil and its properties, groundwater table, self weight of the pile, durability of the pile, cost of the pile, maintenance cost, length of the pile required, number of the pile required, facilities available for the pile driving, presence of the acid and another minerals which are chemically reactive in the soil that would injure the pile. So these are the certain factors which affect for the selection of type of the piles. Types of pile based on the function. Classification based on the function or use: bearing piles or end bearing piles, friction piles or screen friction piles, sheet piles, tension pile or uplift piles, anchor piles, batter piles, fender piles and compaction piles. So these are some types of the piles based on their function and their use. And types of the pile based on the material are timber piles, concrete piles, composite piles, steel pipes and sand piles. So these are pile material. This is a timber pile, this is a steel pile, this is H-section steel pipe, this is concrete pile, precast concrete piles and composite. Composite piles means it is a mixture of steel and concrete piles. Classification based on the method. Number 1, driven piles, driven and cast in situ piles, bored and cast in situ piles, screw piles, jagged piles. Classification on the piles based on the function and use. End bearing piles. These piles penetrate through the soft soil and their bottom or tips rest on a hard stratum. These piles act as a column. The soft material surrounding the piles provides some lateral support. For end bearing pile, QU is equal to QP. So In this figure you can see that Q load of the superstructure is coming in this manner, and this soft material is providing friction to the piles. Such type of pile is called friction pile, end bearing piles. It is supported on the rock, it is supported on QP is equal to Q, it is termed to be the end bearing piles. Friction piles, when loose soil extends to a great depth, pile are driven up to such a depth that frictional resistance developed at the side of the piles equal the load coming on the piles. Friction piles are used when a hard stratum is available at a greater depth. For a friction pile, so in friction pile this friction is generated with a soft material, and it is provided when a hard stratum is available at a greater depth. Compaction pile, when piles are driven in a loose granular soil with the aim of increasing the bearing capacity of a soil, the piles are termed as compaction pile. These piles themselves do not carry any load. Tension piles, these pile anchors down the structure subjected to the uplift due to the hydrostatic pressure or due to the overturning moment. It is also called uplift pile. Fender pile, fender piles are used to protect the water structures against the impact of the ship or other floating objects. So this is a sheet pile, this is foundation pile, this is a batter pile, and this one is a fender pile. Piles can be classified on the basis of the material as concrete pile, steel pile, timber pile, composite pile, and sand piles. Concrete pile can be further classified into precast pile, cast in situ pile, and pre-stressed concrete piles. Precast concrete piles. Precast concrete piles are those which are manufactured in a factory or at a place away from the construction site and then driven into the ground at the place required. These piles require heavy pile driving machinery. Precast piles may be square, octagonal, or circular in cross section. The size of the pile may vary from 30 cm to 50 cm in the cross sectional dimension and up to 20 meter or more in a length. The reinforcement may consist of the longitudinal steel bars of 20 mm to 40 mm in a diameter, 4 to 8 number with the lateral ties of 6 to 10 mm diameter at 100 mm center to center spacing. So in this figure you can see the projection and elevation of the pile. This is the steel shoe. These are the way reinforcement is provided in a piles, and these are the stirrups, the way stirrups are being provided in a piles. And this is the figure of a precast pile kept in a fabrication shop after fabrication. And these are the way they are provided in a, they are driven in for flyovers. They are driven over here in a group. They are firstly their piles are driven, and then piers are being provided. After piers, over the piers, these flyovers are being provided. So basically piles are being piles are very usually used for flyovers and bridges. Such type of piles are used. This is an example of sheet piles. Sheet piles are driven in a way. So this is the mechanism of driving the pile. In this figure you can see how the piles are being driven. This leader pole used to guide the hammer and pile into the position. There is a winch, crane, soft soil under compression. Precast pile are being driven by the hammers. Procedure for forming precast concrete pile. The formwork of the pile is prepared and it is coated with a soap solution or a soil to prevent adhesion. The cage of the reinforcement is prepared as per the design, and this cage is then placed in the formwork. A concrete over of at least 50 mm is provided. A concrete of grade M20 is prepared with the proportion of 1:1.3:3, and the size of the coarse aggregate varies from 10 mm to 25 mm. This is the way how they cast the precast piles in a fabrication shop. So the forms are removed after 3 days, and the piles are kept in a shame position for about 7 days or so. The piles are then shifted to the curing tank, and after a period of about 3 to 4 weeks they become ready for uses. And cast in situ concrete piles are further broadly classified into cased piles and uncased pile. In cased pile there are Raymond pile, MacArthur pile, monotube pile, BSP base driven piles, simplex pile, Franchi pile, vibro pile, and pedestal pile, and pressure pile. Actually, student, in state services examination they ask few objective type question regarding the types of pile foundation. So these different types of piles become important for engineering services examination and state services examination. Raymond pile. I am now going to discuss about Raymond pile. The Raymond standard pile is used to primarily as a friction pile. It is provided with the uniform taper of 1 in 30, resulting in a shorter piles. The length of the piles vary from 6 to 12 meter. The diameter of the pile vary from 40 to 60 centimeter at the top and 20 to 30 centimeter at the bottom. Raymond piles have a high bearing capacity because of the corrugated surface of the pile shaft and their conical shape. They are suitable for high pile loads and difficult driving condition. So this is the way how Raymond pile looks like. You can see in a figure, this is a mandrel and this is a casing. Raymond pile installation. In Raymond pile installation, cell is closed at the bottom. The cell is driven into the ground with a collapsible steel mandrel or a core. It is having the same taper. When the pile is driven into the desired depth, the mandrel mechanically collapses and withdrawn, leaving the shell inside the ground. The cell is inspected internally by using the light from a mirror of a flashlight or a drop light. The cell is gradually filled with the concrete up to the top. So first of all, we drive a steel shell which is called mandrel, and after that we provide mirror or drop light over for inspection, and then we do concreting over here. 4 to 6 inch some concrete is poured over here, and this is the completed pile. You are understanding? First of all, what we are doing, we are driving the sheet cell, that is called mandrel, and for inspection purpose we are dropping the light, and after that we are pouring the concrete into, which are having the slump value of 4 to 6 inch. We are pouring that concrete, and after concreting, this pile is being completed. And now I will discuss about the MacArthur piles. These piles is a pile of uniform diameter using the corrugated steel shell which remains in a place. However, the driving of the pile uses an additional steel casing of a heavy gauge thickness. The heavy steel casing with a central core is driven into the ground as the shown in a figure. After reaching the desired depth, the central core is withdrawn and a corrugated shell is placed in a casing. Finally, concrete is placed in the shell by gradually compacting it and withdrawing the steel casing. The compacted pile contains concrete core and outer bodies. So this is the way the casing and core is being provided, steel casing or heavy gauge, and after that corrugated steel shell and concreting is being done in a way to provide the MacArthur pile. Casing and coring, core and casing of a pile, casing and corrugated shell in a position, corrugated and concrete and corrugated shell in a position. Monotube piles. So in this figure you can see the monotube piles. Monotube piles use tapered fluted steel shell without mandrel and are suitable for wide variety of soil condition, from end bearing to the friction load carrying soils. The cell provide rigidity and are watertight. The pile shell are driven to the required depth and they are inspected after driving. Cell may be driven with the hammer of the comparable size to those used for wood piles. The shell after inspection is filled with the concrete, and now this is the Savage pipe. Piles. A pipe pile having a thin wall, the bottom of the pipe is closed with a precast point. Swage piles are used with the advantage in some soil where the driving is very hard or where it is designed to leave the watertight shell for some time before filling the concrete. The 4 stages forming these piles are shown. Stages in first stage, a thin steel pipe known as a shell is placed on a precast concrete plug, and a steel core which is not long enough to reach the plug is inserted in a shell. In a second stage, as the pipe is driven over the plug until the core reaches the plug, the pipe is squeezed out by the taper of the plug, thus forming a watertight joint. So in third stage, the pipe is driven into the specified depth. The driving force is practically all exerted by the core, or on the plug, and the pile pulled down rather than driven. In the fourth stage, after the pile has reached the desired depth, the core is removed and the pipe left open until it is desired to fill it. These piles are used in a location where increase in the end bearing area is desired. The pile, this is button pile. The pile uses a concrete plug of the shape of a button. This button forms an enlarged hole in a soil during driving. The fourth stage in a pile driving are shown. In the first stage, a steel pipe with 12 thick wall and a reinforced base of the cast steel is set over the concrete button The concrete button has a diameter about 25 larger than a pipe. In a stage, the pipe and the bottom are driven to a specified depth. In a third stage, a corrugated steel shell inserted in a pipe, resulting on the bottom. A steel plate is with a bolt hole in it is welded on a bottom of the shell before lowering, so that the hole may fit over the central bolt in a button bottom. In the fourth stage, the casing is withdrawn. The button in a place and the shell is filled with the concrete. Uncased cast in situ concrete piles. These piles are comparatively cheap as no casing will be left in the ground, but great skill is required in the case to achieve the desired result. The common type of uncased cast in situ concrete piles are simplex pile, Frankai pile, vibro piles, pedestal pile and pressure piles. So now I will discuss about simplex pile. In this type of pile, a steel tube is fitted with a cast iron show is driven into the ground up to a desired depth. The reinforcement, if necessary, is placed in the tube. The concrete is poured into the tube and the tube is slowly withdrawn, leaving the shoe into the ground. The concrete is not tamped and the pile is completed. Such a pile is known as simplex standard pile. If tampering of the concrete is done at a regular interval, the tube is withdrawn. Frankai pile. The Frankai pile, known and used worldwide, it is a cast in situ concrete pile with an enlarged base and a cylindrical shaft, which due to its powerful driving method during installation can penetrate stiff soil and reach larger depth. By expulsion of a dry concrete plug, the soil surrounding the pile base is improved and thus the initial soil bearing capacity can be increased significantly. Although the application of Frankai system has decreased due to the cost and environmental consideration, this system is still competitive and widely used when the site conditions are suitable. Frankai pile. These piles has enlarged base of mushroom, which gives the effect of the spread footing. Also, this type of pile is best suited for the granular soils. Figure shows the following various stages of the piling. In the first stage is a heavy removable pile. Shell is vertically on the ground with the help of leads and a charge of dry concrete or gravel is formed. In a second stage, a diesel operated drop hammer of 20 to 30 kilonewton weight is driven on a concrete. In the third stage, when the tube has reached the desired depth, the tube is held in a position by cables and the hammer is applied to the concrete, forcing it down and outward. In the fourth stage, the shaft is formed by introducing the successive charges of the concrete, ramming each in turn and withdrawing gradually the casing. Finally, it shows formed vibro piles. The vibro piles are formed by driving a steel tube and a cast iron show filing with the concrete and extracting the tube using upward extracting and downward tamping below. Blows are alternatively. Vibro piles are extremely suitable for a very large variety of soil condition for which the pile length can be adopted to supporting capacity of a subsoil. This avoids risk of having piles too long or too short. A vibro pile is closed off casing that is vibrated into the ground, displacing and densifying all material in its path. The casing is then filled with the concrete and reinforcement and then extracted or filled with concrete as it is extracted and the reinforcement is installed later. Vibro pile is used as an alternative to precast piles or drill cast pile in situ in soft grounds, especially when the vibrating a probe is faster than drilling and casing or when the vertical tie downs are necessary. Pedestal piles. This type of piles are used where the bearing stratum is reached with a reasonable depth. The pedestal of the piles gives the effect of the spread footing on this comparatively thin bearing. The core and the casing of the driven together into the ground till they reach the desired level. The core is taken out and a charge of concrete is placeable in a tube. The core is again placed in a casing to rest on the top of the poured concrete. Pressure is applied on the concrete through the core, and at the same time the casing is withdrawn. The process is repeated till the casing is completely removed. These are pressure piles. These are formed with the help of a casing tube, boring agar and compressed air equipment. These piles are especially suitable for those congested sites where heavy vibration and noise are not permissible. A hole is bored into the ground by the means of an agar, and as the boring proceeds, the hole is lined by a steel tube. When the tube reaches the required depth, the boring tool is withdrawn. The reinforcement, if any, is then placed in the tube. If the second stage, a layer of a concrete is laid and a pressure cap is provided at the top of the tube. Compressed air is then admitted through the air pipe, and which is applied to raise the tube. Thus the pile is lifted slightly, and at the same time concrete is forced into the surrounding ground by compressed air. The process is repeated till the pile is completed. Care should be taken to see that some portion of the concrete remains at the bottom of the tube when lifting of the tube is stopped to receive a new layer of a concrete. Sheet piles. Sheet piles are the thin piles made up of the plates of concrete, timber or steel driven into the ground for either separating members or for stopping seepage of water. They are not meant for carrying any vertical load. Therefore, sheet piles are also termed as non-load bearing piles. Sheet piles are used for the following purposes: to isolate foundation from adjacent soil, to prevent underground movement of the water, to prevent the transfer of the machine vibration to adjacent structures, to construct retaining wall in a dock, wharves and other marine structure, to protect river banks, to retain sides of the foundation trenches, to work as a cut-off walls under the dam, to confine the soil and thereby increase the bearing capacity of the soil. Sheet piles. Based on the material, types of sheet piles are classified as concrete sheet piles, steel sheet pile and timber sheet pile. Concrete sheet piles are reinforced precast unit. The width of each unit may vary from 50 cm to 60 cm, and thickness may vary from 2 cm to 6 cm. The reinforcement is in the form of the vertical bars and hoops. Sheet piles. For precast RCC sheet piles are used for permanent work such as bulkheads, cut-off ways, retaining walls, wharves and etc. In order to make them watertight, they can be placed in such a way that grooves are formed, and these grooves are then filled by cement mortar in proportion of 1:3. Under the pressure, the sheet piles are shaped obliquely and beveled so as to facilitate driving. Metal shoes are provided at the bottom of the piles if they have to pass through the hard strata. Sheet piles are most commonly used. They are trough shaped, and when the piles are interlocked and will alternate once reversed, they are generally made of from the steel. Sheet piles are strong and durable and can be easily driven without appreciable distortion. They provide a fairly watertight enclosure, and hence they are widely used in the construction of the coffer dams. They are also used for permanent works in marine structures. Different types of the sheet piles are arc web sheet piles, built up steel sheet piles, Z-type steel sheet piles, corrugated steel sheet piles, deep arc web steel sheet piles, and universal joint steel pipe. Universal joint steel sheet piles consist of the eye connected by standard clutches and lock bars. Timber sheet piles. The width of the sheet may vary from 225 to 280 mm, while thickness should not be less than 50 mm. They may be jointed by either butt or V joints. Classification of the piles based on the methods of the installation. Based on the methods of the installation, piles may be classified as driven piles. These piles are driven into the ground by applying blows with the heavy hammers on their types. Timber, steel and precast concrete piles are installed by driving, which may be driven into the position either by vertically or at the inclination. Driven and cast in situ piles. These piles are formed by driving a casing with a closed bottom end into the soil. The casing is later filled with the concrete. The casing may or may not be withdrawn. If casing is withdrawn, it is called uncased pile, and if the casing is withdrawn, if it is called uncased pile, and if the casing is not withdrawn, it is called cased pile. Board or cast in situ piles. These piles are formed by excavating a hole into the ground. Screw piles. These piles are screwed into the soil. Jack piles. These piles are jacked into the ground by applying a downward force with the help of hydraulic jack. Now I am talking about one of the most famous piles, that is under-reamed piles. These piles are successfully developed by CBRI Roorkee, Uttar Pradesh, for serving. Currently, it is in Uttarakhand for serving as the foundation of black cotton soil, filled up the ground and other types of soil having a poor bearing capacity. An under-reamed pile is a board cast in situ concrete piles having one or more bulbs or under-reams in its lower portion. The bulb or under-reams are formed by under-reaming tool. The diameter of the under-reamed piles varies from 20 cm to 50 cm, and that of the bulb varies from 2 to 3 times the diameter of a piles. Under-reamed piles. The length of the under-reamed piles is about 3 to 8 meter. The spacing of the pile may vary from 2 to 4 meter. The under-reamed piles can be used for sandy soil with a high water table. So these are the under-reamed bulbs. So in a way, this is a way to provide the under-reamed piles so that friction generated from the soft soil deposits may increase. Load bearing capacity of under-reamed piles can be increased by adopting the piles or larger diameter, or by extending the length of the piles, or by making more bulbs at the base. A single under-reamed piles has only one bulb at the bottom. When 2 or more bulbs are provided at the base, it is known as the multiple under-reamed piles. The vertical spacing between the 2 bulbs varies from 1.25 to 1.50 diameter of the piles. Under-reamed piles. In case of black cotton soil, the bulbs not only increases the bearing capacity but also provide the encourages against the uplift. Figure shows various stages in the formation of under-reamed piles. The equipment required for the construction of the piles are agar boring guide, spiral agar with the extension rod, under-reamer with soil bucket, and concrete funneling. So this is a way of doing under-reaming. With the help of under-reaming tools, you can do the under-reaming, and after that, concrete funnel is being steel reinforcement is being driven, and concrete funnel is provided. After that, concreting is being done. The spacing of the pile is the center to center distance between the two successive piles. This is 1 pile, this is 2 pile, this is 3 group of piles, this is 4 group of piles, 5 group of piles, and 6 group of piles, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is the way of providing piles in a group. The factors to be considered while deciding the pile spacing are as follows: the nature of the soil through which the pile is driven, the construction during the pile driving, the type of pile, the depth of penetration, the area of cross section of the pile, the center to center distance of the pile. Group of piles. Sometimes the piles are arranged in a closed space group. When the piles are driven to required depth, their tops are cut off at a same level, and then the pile cap is provided. So this is a way of providing piles or other type of deep foundation. Pile cap is provided, and after that pile column is provided. The pile forming the group of pile may be arranged in a square, rectangular, triangular, or circular as per the requirement. In case of a single pile, a small pressure is developed in surrounding soil, and in the case of a group of pile, the pressure developed surrounding the individual pile will overlap laterally, and the pressure in the overlapping zone will be sufficient to cause the movement of the soil, and consequently the pile will settle. In case of wooden pile, steel pile, and precast concrete pile, to protect the top and bottom of the pile while driving it into the ground, and to facilitate easy pile driving, certain accessories are required. That is pile cap and pile shoe. Pile cap, in case of driven piles, the pile are driven into the ground by applying number of blows of a heavy hammer on their tops. Thus, to protect the top of the pile cap is being provided. Normally, pile cap is made up of the steel. The thickness and size of the pile cap depend upon the shape and size of the pile driving hammer. The pile should penetrate into the cap for at least 10 cm length. In case of the group of the pile, a common cap of the RCC is being provided for all other piles. Pile shoe. While driving the wooden or steel pile by hammer, the bottom end of the pile gets damaged, causing difficulty in driving, and therefore a pile shoe is fitted at the bottom end of the pile to protect the pile and to facilitate easy pile driving. Pile shoe are made of the cast iron, steel iron. Accessories of the piles. Various types of piles. Pile shoe is a square pile shoe, wedge pile shoe, round pile shoe, and steel type of steel trap shoe, shocker type pile shoe, and closed end pipe shoe. In a figure, you can see how pile shoe looks like. Pile driving. The operation of inserting a pile into the ground is known as pile driving. The points to be considered for selection of the pile driving methods are: various methods for pile driving are hammer driving, vibratory pile driver, water jetting and hammering, partial augering method. Hammer driving. In this we can see these are the pile hammer, pile frame, leads, winches and miscellaneous equipment. So this is where hammer driving is being done. Establishing, this is boom, this is establishing point, this is pile gate, pile, helmet and hammer, and load is being provided in a way, and pile is driven in a pile hammering is done in this way. Vibratory pile driver, drop hammer, single acting hammer, double acting hammer and diesel hammer. Single acting hammer features this is a field view of single acting hammer. External compressor supplies power, relatively heavy ram, short stroke controlled by 1 or 2 slide bar, setting 3 feet, 3 or 5 feet, 2 or 4 feet. Air pressure, volume and soil resistance can influence the actual feature. Drop hammer, ram raised by the crane line, efficiency of the drop controlled by operator and a system, low equipment cost, low operation, simpler and inconsistent stroke. This is diesel hammer, variable fuel settings, relatively light ram, long stroke, potential energy, most common hammer type. Comments: stroke depends on fuel input, pile stiffness and soil resistance. Double acting hammer, weight of the hammer is about 1000 to 2500 kg, can apply up to 90 to 240 blows per meter, and generally used for driving light moderate weight piles. Skin friction between successive blows is reduced due to the number of the blows. Reduction of the time of pile driving. Water jetting and hammering. The use of a water or air jet to facilitate pile driving by displacing parts of the soil. Jetting is useful in driving piles through dense granular material. Load on piles. Direct vertical load coming from the superstructure. Impact stresses developed during the process of the pile driving. Stresses developed during the handling operation. Bending stresses developed due to the eccentricity of the loads coming on the pile. Lateral forces due to the wind, waves, current of the water, etc. Impact forces due to the ice sheet or becks. Impact forces due to ship in case of marine structure. Forces due to the uplift pressure. Causes of the failure of the piles. Absence of statistical data regarding the nature of the soil strata through which the piles are to be driven. Actual load coming on the pile being more than the design load. Bad workmanship in cases of the cast in situ cement concrete pile, attack by the insect, etc. Wooden piles. Breaking due to the overdriving, especially in case of the timber pile. Buckling of the piles due to removal of the side support, inadequate and lateral support. Causes of the failure of the pipe: lateral forces, wind, waves and currents, etc. not being taken into the design of the pile. Important choice of types of the piles. Important choice of method of driving of the piles. Important classification of the pile. Insufficient reinforcement or misplacement of the reinforcement in the case of RCC piles. Wrongful use of the pile formula for determining its load bearing capacity. Pile load test, actually cyclic pile load test is being done. This is the loading arrangement is in the same way as we do in the plate load test. So this is the gravity loading and this is the truss loading. In this is reaction truss loading and this is gravity loading being provided over here. Preliminary pile design is first carried out on the basis of the site investigation, laboratory soil testing and office study. Pile load tests are carried and then carried out to refine and finalize the design. For these conditions, the test piles are generally construction of bearing plate, anchor piles, anchor girder, hydraulic jack, reference bearing capacity and dial gauge. So this is anchor pile, test pile, anchor pile. This is the way main beam for providing the gravity loading or truss loading is provided. This is supporting block and this is the extended pile main bar and reaction wheel. Method: Load the pile in 8 equal increment, that is 25%, 50%, 70, 200, 125, 150, 175 and 200% to 200 to the design load. Maintain each load increment until the rate of settlement has decreased to 0.01 inch per hour and 0.25 mm per hour, but no longer than 2 hours. Maintain 200% load for 24 hours. After required holding time, remove the load in the decrements of 25% with 1 hour between the decrements. After the load has increased, apply and remove as above. Reload the pile to the test load in increments of 50% of the design load, allowing 20 minutes between the load increments. So this is the settlement versus load graph. Sn is equal to St minus Se. Se is the rebound settlement curve, unloading, and this is net settlement and gross curve. So in book of BC Punamiya also you will get a very good nice diagram of load versus settlement. Pulling of a pile. Features: to replace damaged pile during driving operation, to change the design and arrangement of the pile, to prepare data of strata of a pile, driving removal of the piles. Methods commonly adopted: use of double acting hammer worked in a reverse way, a steady pull of 4 Newton per mm square is applied. Use of the pile extractor, easily put up into the use, do not require any special fittings. Use of tongs suspended from the frame and a pull of 50 Newton per mm square is applied. Use of electricity, apply of the direct current voltage leads to attraction of the water, causing lubrication of the steel piles, and hence skin friction reduces. Pile driving formula: dynamic formula, engineering new records formula, Hilais formula, Danish formula and static formula. Dynamic formula: kinetic energy delivered is equal to work done in penetration. W into H into eta small h is equal to R into S plus energy losses, where capital W is equal to weight of hammer in kilonewton, small h is equal to height of fall of the hammer, eta h is equal to efficiency of hammer, and R is equal to pile resistance, and S is equal to penetration of the pile per blow. So this is the formula. QA is equal to capital WH into F into S plus C. QA is equal to allowable load, and this is engineering new records formula. You can solve the numerical problem on these also. H is equal to height of fall of a hammer, F is equal to factor of safety, which is taken as 6, S is equal to penetration per blow, C is equal to empirical constant is equal to 25 mm of the drop hammer is equal to 2.5 of single acting hammer and double acting steam hammer. So engineering new records formula for drop hammer becomes QA is equal to WH upon 6 S plus 25. For single acting steam hammer it becomes WH into 6 S plus 2.5. Double acting steam hammer, where A is equal to area of a piston and P is equal to mean effective steam stress. QA is equal to W plus AP into H upon 6 into S plus 2.5. Hilais formula: Q is equal to WH into eta H eta B upon S plus C by 2, where Q is equal to ultimate load on the pile, W is equal to weight of hammer, H is equal to height of fall of a hammer, C is equal to total elastic compression, which is equal to C1 plus C plus 2C, eta is equal to efficiency of hammer, and S is equal to average settlement per blow. Drop hammer: eta H is equal to 100%, single acting hammer eta H is equal to 75 to 85%, double acting hammer eta H is equal to 85%. Danish formula, where Q is equal to WH into eta H S plus S naught by 2. S naught is equal to under root of WHL 2 eta H upon AE. QA is equal to QU upon F. F is equal to factor of safety, which is taken as 3. E is equal to modulus of elasticity. Capital A is equal to cross sectional area of a pile. Capital L is equal to length of pile, and S is equal to penetration per blow. S naught is equal to compression of the pile. So dear students, try to solve problem from Danish formula, Hilais formula and engineering formula. Try to revise the concept of different types of deep foundation, in which I have briefly explained upon the pile foundation, types of pile foundation, certain tests carried on the pile foundation. So try to revise those things. Try to revise types of sheet piles, types of caisson, types of piers, types of all these things, and afterwards discussing about the pile files. I will be giving some numerical problems to all people which has came in the gate examination and civil services examination and engineering services examination. So try to solve those numerical problems upon single pile, group pile. I will be giving those formula also. This is a static formula. QU to try to solve numerical problem on these topics. Static formula: QU is equal to QP plus QS. QP is equal to Q small qp into AP, and QS is equal to FS into AS, where capital Q is equal to ultimate bearing load, QP is equal to end bearing resistance, QS is equal to screen fraction resistance, QP is equal to unit end bearing resistance equal to ultimate bearing capacity, AP is equal to area at the base, Fs is equal to unit distance fraction, As is equal to surface area of a pile in a contact of soil. Now try to solve numerical problem on these topics. I would be sharing some numerical problem also to you all people. I will be sharing formulas to you all people in a gate courses also and all those things, and I would be sharing the numerical problems to you all people. First of all, I will share solved numerical problem which has previously came in engineering services and civil services examination. So try to solve this problem. After solving the numerical problem, if any doubt is coming, actually the formula, these numerical problem are basically based on these formulas only. So that is not that much difficult. Try to solve the formula. Actually you should keep on solving the numerical problem related to your geotechnical engineering. One problem also, stability of slopes and vertical stresses, bearing capacity chapter, settlement of foundation. You should try to solve the previous year question of gate engineering services to build up your constant and to try to learn the things and make it concrete. So now I would like to discuss about the micropiles. This is in situ reinforcement, case 1, case 2 micropiles used for slope stabilization and earth retention, ground strengthening, settlement reduction and structural stability. Structural support, they are used as earth retaining structure, foundation for new structures, underpinning existing foundation and seismic retrofitting. Micropile construction sequence: drilling or installation of temporary casing, remove inner drilling bit and rod, placing reinforcement and grouting it, remove temporary casing, inject other grouting under pressure and complete piles. So this is the way micropiles are being placed. In beginning, drilling or installation of the temporary casing, complete drilling to a depth, remove inner drill bit and rod if used, place reinforcement or grout by tremie, remove temporary casing, inject further grout under pressure as applicable. Complete pile casing may be left in a classification of micropiles: design behavior, case 1 and case 2, method of grouting, type A, B, C, D and E. According to design application, case 1, each micropile is loaded directly. Primary resistance is provided by steel, reinforcement by side resistance and overbond zone. Each micropile designed to act individually even when in a groups. So this is the way. Actually this topic is not in your syllabus, so this is not that much important to learn about micropiles. Then also according to design application, network of micropiles act as a group of reinforce the soil mass. Each micropile is lightly reinforced. Design procedure not fully developed. So in this figure you can see how micropiles are being provided. To lateral support, vertical load, no lateral load is needed. So in this way, for slope protection, here you can see type A, type B, type C and type D, subtype A1, A2, 3, drill casing, temporary end line. So you can see, go through this chart. This is the way type A, type B, type C and type D is being drilled. Drilling techniques of the micropiles: single tube advancement, rotary duplex, rotary percussion concentric duplex, rotatory percussion eccentric duplex, double head duplex, hollow stem agar duplex. This is the field application. Grouting purpose: transferring of the load from reinforcement to surrounding part of micropiles. Pile load bearing cross section, protect steel reinforcement, extend the limits of the drill hole by permeation. General characteristic: high strength and stability, use of potable water to reduce potential of corrosion, neat water content, grout mixture for ये. Most important consideration: water cement ratio should be 0.40 to 0.50. Pre-construction testing specification, construction monitoring. After completion of the grouting, no significant loss of grout in a load bearing zone. Monitor the grout, take grout to refusal, pre-grout and re-grout. For type B micro piles, consider possibility that targets the pressure may not be fully obtained during the installation. Include verification, load test program and proof testing of the suspect piles in a specification. So this is the way grouting is being done. These are some questions. Try to solve these questions, like explain the situation which will pile foundation are used, and discuss the main factor affecting the selection of type of pile. Explain with sketches the method of forming button bottom pile and simplex pile. Describe precast concrete pile with the sketches and process of forming. Casting advantage and disadvantages. What are the factors considering while deciding the pile spacing? Explain the behavior of single pile and group under the load, and try to solve numerical problem on this parameter also, single pile and group. Describe in brief various types of pile driving equipment with sketches of each. Explain the dynamic formula adopted for determining load capacity. Make a comparison between cast in situ pile and precast pile, and also between end bearing pile and friction pile. So this is the theory part related to pile foundation. It is all completed. Now I will be sharing some numerical problems to you all people. Try to go through this video, try to solve the numerical problem which I will share, and afterwards I am sharing in a gate questions which I am sharing on the daily basis. Once again I will revise this deep foundation, shallow foundation, bearing capacity, settlement of foundation, and vertical stresses and slope stability topics. There also I would be sending gate question, and after once the gate question is being completed, I would be sharing some conventional question of engineering services examination which has come previously in a engineering services examination for soil mechanics and foundation engineering. So students, try to keep revising all the videos which I have been sending to you all people. If you are not understanding any facts,